You're listening to the Biohackers World podcast.
Hello, I am Jason Pencek, and I'm here with Dr. Jin-Xiong She. He's actually the owner of Jinfiniti. I'm actually a nurse practitioner and chiropractor that has a clinic in Chicago that has been functioning for about 8 years now. And I'm very excited to talk about Jin-Xiong She. I'm talking about your product, Jinfiniti, your company, and everything going on. You've been doing this about 40 years, correct? And you've been working in this field, lots of studying on biomarkers and how to make the best biomarkers and the best test, and then also what to do with that test, and then how to treat the things you find in that test. So, Dr. She, let's start here. Your journey from academic research to founding Jinfiniti is really fascinating. Like going through all these years, you spent years studying all these things. What inspired you, after decades of studying biomarkers, to make this so that every person can just get their hands on it and just start testing themselves?
Thank you, Jason. It's my honor to be here in Chicago. And Chicago is a wonderful city. I have my whole family here, and I enjoy the city very, very much. And I also want to thank you for given us the opportunity to work with you in the last few years, and I hope what we have done at Jinfiniti is helping you and especially your patients. We are all in this together as a longevity community. I think we share the common goal of extending health span and lifespan, of course. My personal goal is to be able to live to 100 years and beyond, but most importantly, live to 100 years and do the things I want to do. My personal passion is tennis. I want to invite everyone to go to my 100th birthday on the tennis court. That's my open invitation to everyone in the world. So seriously, I had I think a very successful academic career, and I have accomplished quite a bit by academic standard. But one thing that really bothered me for almost 40 years is that we as academic scientists did not have the opportunity or the ability to translate our discoveries into practice, into products and services that can really help people. And in our field, of course, is medicine, longevity. Again, my goal is to contribute whatever I can to help as many people as possible to extend their health span to 100 years and beyond. I'm so happy that I took the initiative to move out from academia to the industry where I can put my knowledge, my tools, and my philosophy into practice to help people on a daily basis. That makes me so happy. It's really, I look forward to more detailed discussion so we can help more people.
Of course. I have been using Indian practice for at least 8 years now. And when I first started, you couldn't test Jinfiniti. It was impossible. You had to flash freeze the sample, you had to send it out. It was really hard. It was research only. And now you've come out with basically a test for testing Jinfiniti levels in the body, which I think is amazing. Right now, when we're looking at biomarkers of aging, which is a huge thing, we're here at the Biohackers World Conference in Chicago, and we want to know what basically do you think are the most clinical and actionable things you can do today that people like me, practitioners, can use to help patients? Like, what can I do in practice to help my patients even better than I am right now, using things that you have at Jinfiniti?
Yeah, very, very good question. So I want everyone to understand that longevity or anti-aging, it can be done by everyone. It's not just reserved for the wealthy, for the super rich people, billionaires, millionaires. It can be for everyone, whether you have the resources or not. Because lifestyle changes are probably the most important tools that everyone has, and it usually does not cost a lot of money. So I would say that people need to really think about what they want. If they really want health and longevity, start by changing their lifestyle. That's my first phase of any anti-aging program. If you cannot commit to that, I am sorry to say that I cannot help you.
Hence why we're meeting on the tennis court for your birthday, right?
That's why we have to meet on the tennis court. So that's the first phase that everyone can do. But if you really want to live to 100 years and beyond, you really have to use more tools. Mm-hmm. The tools are biomarker testing and personalization and precision of intervention programs. And you have to do biomarker testing because you want to find out what deficiencies or abnormalities or risk factors you currently have that may predispose you to more serious health problems years into the future. It's all about prevention. Many people understand the prevention and talk about the prevention, but prevention only works well if we know what needs to be prevented and what are the best strategies to prevention. That varies from person to person. So that's why in the last 5 years, Jinfiniti and our team has worked very hard to look at all the possible biomarkers that can be used for longevity purposes. We came up with about 50 biomarkers that are in 8 main categories. These biomarkers have to have very high scientific and medical standard. They have to be scientifically sound, medically important. That's the first criteria. The second criteria we have is we must have reproducible, reliable tests that can be implemented in a clinical setting on a routine basis and also affordably. Finally, the third criterion that we have to choose the biomarker is the actionability that you mentioned. Having the information is very important, but if you don't have the intervention tools, the information is not going to help anyone. So I use these 3 very important criteria to select biomarkers to include in our longevity biomarker panels. So we ended up with about 50 biomarkers that fall into 8 major categories. Some may be very familiar with these 8 categories, others may not. I'll just very briefly mention. Yeah. The first one is inflammation. Everyone talks about inflammation. Yeah. Everyone knows about the inflammation. But very few people know actually inflammation can be good or bad depending on the situation. Acute inflammation happens when we get an infection or we get an injury. Now, inflammation is a way for us to clear infections. That's a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. But when acute inflammation turns into chronic inflammation, you have inflammation going on all the time. That's when inflammation actually causes health problems. Almost all diseases have an inflammatory basis. So that's one point. The second point is most people don't know that chronic inflammation actually don't come from immune cells. They come from the group of cells that we call senescent cells or zombie cells. Now, senescent cells are not really topic focus for the mainstream biomedical research community. Yeah. And I was part of it, right? So that's why I know. But senescence is very big in longevity, and rightly so. We know. We have done extensive studies on senescence and how senescence influence major diseases, including cancer and diabetes, cardiovascular disease. Now, senescence not only is increased in patients with these health conditions, but also has a major impact on how well we can treat these diseases. It has a major impact on how cancer patients respond to chemotherapy, for example. Yeah. It has a huge impact on patient survival. So paying more attention to senescence is something that we as a community in longevity should pay more attention. So the third category is oxidative stress, free radicals.
Yeah.
Some people know it as free radicals. Now, oxidative stress is mostly produced in the mitochondria. Many people know the importance of mitochondria function.
We hope so.
And we hope so. Not everyone does, and including the mainstream doctors. They don't talk about it.
No.
When I was a medical school professor, I didn't talk about oxidative stress.
Yeah.
And oxidative stress is one of the two most important functions or activities going on in the mitochondria.
Yeah.
So the number one function of mitochondria is to produce energy, ATP, but as a byproduct, we produce free radicals, and that's oxidative stress.
Yeah.
So oxidative stress is particularly a major problem in the US. And at least 70-80% of Americans have very high oxidative stress compared to about 10 to 15% of Europeans. Now, let's just look at Caucasians. The genes are not so different between Caucasians in Europe versus Caucasians in America.
Yeah.
But oxidative stress levels are totally different. Again, coming back to lifestyle, that's related to our food choices, our food supplies, and how we eat, whether we exercise, all this lifestyle question, right? That's why at the very upfront, I want to emphasize lifestyle is a key. So then we can go on, blood sugars or glycation, that's very important. Another very important group of biomarkers is micronutrients. That's NAD, vitamin D, vitamin C, and all the calcium, magnesium, all these micronutrients play an essential role in our health and also in causing diseases when they are deficient. And finally, toxins, heavy metals, microplastics, these are very important. So the approach, I think we can really help people to live healthier is to find out what issues are in play in each person.
Yeah.
We tested tens of thousands of people. We know there are two important conclusions. First one is every one of us, you and I, we all have some kind of issues. You look very healthy. I hope I'm healthy.
You look very healthy.
I think our biomarkers are probably much better. We don't have a huge number of issues to deal with, but we have a number of people who have serious deficiencies and abnormalities in many different categories. So everyone has some issues, and also everyone has a different set of issues. That's why we need to know what's wrong with me, what's wrong with you, and what's wrong with another person, another patient you have.
Yeah.
So we can come up with targeted, personalized, precision intervention programs. That's the first step. So you test, and then you take personalized actions. So test, act, and then after some time points, and you retest. So you can use the retesting information to optimize your protocol, to optimize your health. Test, act, optimize.
Yeah.
That's my whole philosophy that we call the Tao philosophy. I actually have a book. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a copy of my book that just came out in Amazon. That's where I talk about the importance of Tao.
What's the name of the book?
The book is called The Tao of NAD.
Okay.
Now, Tao, you probably know Taoism.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the ancient Chinese philosophy that believed to govern how the whole universe works. And longevity is part of the universe.
Yeah.
And I believe Tao also governs how longevity works, and that's why we follow this tau principle and the tau procedure of test, act, optimize.
Yeah, it's a cycle, right? That's all a cycle.
Absolutely. That's a cycle. Tau is one cycle, and you want to repeat it and on a continuing basis.
Yeah.
That's the way that I believe, I would say the only way that we can really achieve healthy longevity.
Yeah.
As we move forward, we're going to have a new tests, we're going to have new treatment protocols, but I believe that the philosophy of Taoism is not going to change.
Yeah.
You always want to keep this philosophy in mind. Every time we have a chance to speak, I say, if you forget about everything I said, remember one word, and that one word is Tao. Test, act, and optimize. And here we just got a copy.
There we go.
Of the book.
The Tao of NAD.
Actually, I saw the book the first time this morning.
Oh, did you? That's great. I actually studied Taoism. I was in China back in college, and Taoism I'm very familiar with. I love that you're using this to actually to think about how you treat. I actually have a question. What senolytic therapies does Jinfiniti have that you guys have now as an option for patients?
Yes. So we start people on a very simple and very safe protocol, and we combine. We have a product called Senolytic that combines quercetin, fisetin, and a few other ingredients.
Yeah.
You really, a lot of people know that quercetin and fisetin are good senolytic ingredients, but what has been found is vitamin C can actually synergize with quercetin. So if you combine quercetin, fisetin, and vitamin C, that can work better.
Interesting.
So that's the first step. It should work for a lot of people. If it doesn't work, then you can gradually move to a more aggressive approach.
Okay.
The next phase is potentially what's called a D+Q protocol.
Yeah, that's the name.
Dasatinib and quercetin. Dasatinib is an anti-cancer drug, and it's used to primarily treat leukemia.
Yes.
And how this products work is primarily to inhibit the cell cycle, basically. Basically. So for a lot of cancer treatment drug, it's a cell cycle inhibitor. That's what dasatinib is. And if you combine quercetin and dasatinib, clinical trials have shown that it can help reduce senescence.
Correct.
But I probably wouldn't move people to the D+Q protocol if quercetin, fisetin plus vitamin C can work for them.
Got it.
And then if D+Q doesn't work, you can potentially consider some more aggressive treatment like rapamycin that people are proposing. I don't have data on rapamycin per se.
Yeah.
I have some anecdotal evidence, but I'm not an expert on that. Personally, I would not use rapamycin. I started rapamycin as an anti-cancer drug, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
And rapamycin was initially developed as an anti-cancer drug. It's still being used in some clinical settings. And later on, it was found to be very useful to inhibit transplant rejections. So it's an immunosuppressive drug, one of the workhorse of immunosuppression.
Yeah.
And depending on the dosage, I really don't think immunosuppression is good for us.
Not long term.
And if anyone wants to use a rapamycin protocol, I'm not going to tell them no, because I don't know whether it's good or better for them. My suggestion is, again, Tao. All right?
Test,
action,
optimize.
Optimize. You want to monitor whether the treatment is helping you or actually harming you.
Yeah.
One thing that I really want to tell everyone is, a lot of biohackers while in a biohacking conference. We interact with, both you and I, we interact with a lot of biohackers. Unfortunately, many biohackers just randomly
just take whatever.
Because they hear something from a famous guy who is talking about X, Y, and Z.
Correct.
And it may be good for those influencers, maybe not, I don't know. I have a lot of data on huge influencers. I'm not going to name them personally.
Well, N of one, right? N of one. It's one person.
It's N of one.
Exactly.
And many people actually don't know what is doing any good for them or not.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson is the only person who actually publicly talks about his data or his good or bad experience.
Yeah.
And rapamycin was...
I know, he cut it out of his recent protocol.
Was not good for him.
Correct.
But I'm not saying that rapamycin is not good for everyone. But please, test you before you get on it. Test again after some cycles to make sure that it's not causing any damage to you. That's all the advice I want to give people. Any advice I gave is summarized here in one word: Tau. Right? Tau.
I absolutely love that. That is an amazing acronym. I mean, it really does fit the whole idea of the cycle again and again. And you're right, Brian Johnson did cut out rapamycin, but I think a lot of people are confused, right? It didn't work for him, but doesn't mean it doesn't work for someone else. Again, the N of one meaning one person's test. This is what we have clinical trials for. I mean, the new thing is GLP-1s, right? Everyone's talking about GLP-1s, Ozempic, Mounjaro's all over the place, and that has been seen in our practice drop, inflammation markers. Have you seen any data so far with Jinfiniti testing and seen, hey, biomarkers, we have a patient on this. Do you ask for protocols the patients are on when they test, or are you taking that data? Because the GLP-1s, at least in our practice, we have seen inflammation markers decrease on that.
Yeah, we do a lot of testing. We do have the clinical and data on a lot of protocols, and also we conduct a lot of clinical trials for companies and also for university scientists as well. So we have accumulated a large body of information that unfortunately I have not had time to publish. I really needed to publish more. After over 400 publications, publication doesn't seem to be on the top of my priority. I'm probably wrong. I mean, I need to disseminate the information so people know what we know.
Correct.
And we have a lot of very important information that needed to be made public, and that will help more people. So I'm going to make this a priority, hopefully very, very soon. Now, when it comes down to GLP-1, we have some information, but we don't have a huge body of information. What I know is that I'm not against the GLP-1 and by any means. I think it's a great drug for those people who need it. There are two issues I see. The first one is GLP-1 can help people lose weight and improve a lot of metabolic biomarkers, no doubt about it, but also can cause lean muscle loss.
Well, this has been absolutely wonderful. I am so glad I got to sit down and talk to you. I didn't get to talk about NAD, which is one of my favorite topics in the world. So people are going to have to get your book, Delve NAD, to figure out what you have to say about this, which is amazing. And I'm super excited, Dr. She. I'm so thankful that you came and sat and talked to me today. Thank you for sitting down and having a talk with us.
Yes, thank you very much. Just before I go, I want to say one word. Now, NAD is a wonderful coenzyme. It can give us a lot of benefits. The most important point for everyone to remember is you will only get the incredible benefits of NAD when your NAD level is optimized.
Okay.
That's really the key. Everything is about optimization.
Dr. She, can you tell people where they can find you? I mean, Jinfiniti is your company, but where else can they find you online?
They can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and they can just search my name, which is a little difficult to spell. I'll show you the name here. If you search my name, you're going to find me on pretty much everywhere.
Everyone? Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Okay guys, if you missed Chicago, if you missed Los Angeles, it's okay, no panic, because we have the same event in Miami early November. Really come, it's an amazing community. We learned so much, and even so, even if you think you're a biohacker who knows everything, believe me, you will learn something in Miami.